All right, let's get started now. Charles Fakoha, iBrandTV senior analyst, joins us now via the phone. Thank you for joining us. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for joining us again. Now let's take a look at this particular story. Of course, the headline there talks about the fact that the CBN governor, Godwin Emefiele, bows to pressure and raised withdrawal limit from 100,000 naira a week for individual to 500,000. Now, talk to us about this.
Well, I wouldn't say it's a bad decision to have a tweak in some of your policy when it comes to when you are implementing them. Yes, I've been issue from the very start. For me, it's a wonderful decision, and it will begin to encourage cashless policy in our spending habits. However, like the CBN people said, as a result of feedback from the various stakeholders, they decided to do a little shift. It's a welcome development, it's good. I would just employ that we Nigerians should begin to accept this policy, begin to implement it, because it's like a change, behavioral change. So it takes some time for people to get used to it. So we must give kudos to CBN for doing this. Some other agents will have said, no, we are sticking to this. But looking at implementing it, fine, there were some issues here and there. And of course, I think it's a good one. We'll give them kudos for changing the policy a little bit, and then let us continue from there.
Well, one wonders, of course, even though the CBN had said that this was as a result of the feedback from the people they got. Again, one wonders exactly, I mean, what would have been the pressure he's bowing to? It is just limited to the fact that Nigerians want more money in their hands this Christmas or not, but it's a different conversation entirely. But let's look at the next story here, which talk about the CBN releasing security features amid counterfeiting concerns as well. It has been a concern because we've seen some fake or counterfeit notes, naira notes out there, and so it gave a bit of concern whether CBN was not ready for this. But of course, they've come out to explain the feature on these the new naira notes now. So talk to us about this. What is the implication of the fake naira notes in the economy?
Yes, thank you very much. For security reasons, yes, no matter how good, how sophisticated, all the features you put in any currency, there are bound to be counterfeits. The bad guys out there will do everything to counterfeit any currency. Even the US dollar, the UK pound sterling, these currencies also have fake. It is now left to the authority, that is CBN now, as the case may be, in trying to educate the public as to some of the features to look for, to recognize the real naira note, and of course to differentiate the fake one. Yes, this is not going to be a one-off affair. It's going to be a continuous thing. This is just the first measure CBN is doing to say that, look, for you to recognize the original naira, these are the things to look out for. Yes, it will take some time. Like I said, for any new policy that is geared towards changing our behavior, there are bound to be resistance. So for me, I just see that people are bringing some of these issues to try to make CBN appear as if they did not go through these things very well before coming out with these policies. I think CBN has done what any central bank would do. It is now left for me and you, Nigerians, to support them and ensure that, yes, we take all this little advice they have given for us to identify the fake naira and the real naira.
I would have asked, ask you another question, because some people will not agree with you that the CBN has done all it takes to do in this case. I mean, they are wondering how come this, this feature was able to get into their hand, because if you look at the new Naira notes and of course the fake, almost look alike, but of course it's a conversation that will continue. But let's quickly look at this particular news item now. Finance Bill 2022. You know that the federal government in the 2022 Finance Bill has jacked up a bit, that is added about 0.5% fee to duty for goods imported outside Africa. Talk to us about this, because a lot of people have talked about that the federal government should be able to make things easier, especially when it comes to tax. But this excise duty, in addition, what's the implication of this? Is it the appropriate time to do this?
Yes, you look at certain policies from different angles. Let's look at it first of all from in terms of Pan-Africanism. You know, the African Free Trade Agreement that Nigeria is a signatory, trying to encourage trade within Africa.
So the AFCTA, right? The African Trade Agreement.
Importing goods outside Africa that attracts that 0.5% of tax. I think for me, that is a very good development, because we need to encourage trade among African countries. And at the same time, the federal government is looking for revenue. So just adding that amount of tax for goods specifically outside Africa will also raise some funds for the federal government to kind of finance their budget. And at the same time, it will also show Nigeria as a country that is ready to go on with the African Continental Free Trade Agreement area agreement that they have signed into. And it will also begin to make Nigerian manufacturers to begin to look inwards in Africa. Certain things we can get in Africa, instead of going outside Africa, we can look at it inward and see how it can be sourced. Yes. Well, the other part of it will be, yes, those who are to import things outside Africa, it will increase their bill. At the same time, whatever they use to manufacture here, of course, that price will also go up. But I think we need to create a balance, and for me, this is a welcome development.
Now, President Muhammadu Buhari is seeking more than 800 billion naira for approval from the National Assembly as a supplementary budget. Talk to us about these. This will take Nigeria's domestic debt to about 22.57 trillion. Is it right time for more loan? I mean, how do you address this? Because before now, we know that a lot of people have come up, or in different quarters, that the rate at which the federal government is borrowing is dangerous or risky to health of the economy. But this time we're seeing another supplementary budget request from the president.
Yes, if you know my position, I have always maintained that he who goes borrowing goes sorrowing. But there are times in the life of a nation that we cannot do without borrowing. As long as those funds are used for very important, critical sectors of the economy. When he is seeking that supplementary budget to save for some infrastructure that were destroyed as a result of the flood, I would consider that as a little critical also, because we saw the devastation the flood brought to Nigerians in terms of their infrastructure, roads, and of course their farmland. So yes, it's critical to get that amount of money, but at the same time, as we are doing that, the managers of the economy should also be looking for ways in which to increase our revenue drive. We cannot run away from that. We just need to see how we can increase. While we are borrowing to meet up certain short-term strategies, we also need to think strategically how to increase our revenue.
I think we'll have to leave it there. Thank you so much, Charles Fakruwa, iBrandTV analyst. Thank you for your time on Business Breakfast.
It's always a pleasure. Thank you. Sorry I'm on the way. That's why.
That's all right. That's all right. So see you tomorrow.
Thank you, my brother. Bless you.
You're still watching Business Breakfast coming to you live from our studios here. Well, still to come after the break is Santa Claus rally in the Nigeria equities market, if you prefer to put it that way, as we'll begin to see more equities trading higher on Wednesday, with the benchmark index gaining about 0.12%, settling at 49,475.43 mark from the previous movement. Well, that's our next focus when we return from this break. Please join us again.